Greetings, everybody. I'm First Boy Barron Trump, son of USA President Donald J. Trump and First Lady Melania K. Trump. One of the things that we're going to be doing is working on a brand new opportunity for the United States of America. We're going to be creating lucrative, substantial standings for the United States of America in every country. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is some reform policies. I'm revising forms that actually work for me, First Boy Barron Trump, as a United States citizen, and representing the United States of America, the collective body and the individual body in 200 countries that make up the countries that populate Earth. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is 12 reform policies. Religion reform policy. We're going to be working on economy reform policy, medical reform policy. We're going to be working on business reform policy, trade reform policy, industry reform policy. We're going to be working on entertainment reform policy, education reform policy, telecommunications reform policy. We're going to be working on safety reform policy, corrections reform policy, and infrastructure reform policy. These are 12 reform policies that I'm going to be implementing in 200 separate countries regarding the United States of America, lucrative, substantial standings in these countries, as I'm tilling the entire land. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is establishing a $400 billion check with a $4 billion royalty. So how I'm going to do this is quite simple. I'm going to be talking to 200 heads of countries, 200 heads of governments regarding my standing, some of the deals that we're going to be making, and I'm such a deal closer. Everybody knows that after the Torah, #1 book on the planet, the Holy Bible, King James Version, #2 book on the planet, and the #3 book on the planet is The Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. So I'm the owner of The Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump, and I'm closing 200 deals. So this is going to be very interesting. And so we're going to be doing things like this. We're opening up synagogues and churches in 200 countries. We want to know how Jews and Christians populated the earth, live on the earth, and amongst countries as sovereign citizens. How they travel from country to country as sovereign citizens, how they believe in God and how God has improved their life and walks and talks with them, and what their purpose is on earth. We're going to be talking with sovereign countries and governments about their citizens, how they've established their countries, the purpose for their country establishment, and what they would like to do with their identity in the world. We're going to be talking to individuals who have evolved from humans to humans with special needs, like prosthetics for amputations and robotic human integration, and the process of documentation for that and travel across the land for that. And we're going to be talking to some of the high-tech countries about robotic human integration and robots traveling to different areas with papers and documentations and that such. So we're going to be talking to governments and Jews and Christians about that, about the origin of the Holy Ghost, of I Am, and the origin of Jesus as God, the creator of all, and how people created by God have created mankind and robot human service providers. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about families such as birth families, biological families, families of interest, families of common, families of selection. We're going to be talking about families of law, families of guardianship, families of parenting, families of conservatorship, and then families of the Torah, families of the Holy Bible, families of descent, families of ancestry, families of heritage. We're going to be talking about the first family and the second family in regards to me being a United States citizen and my acquisition in the entire world as a United States citizen. So we're going to be talking about what it means to be a part of the one family of God's creation, which is Adam and Eve, and then Noah and Noah's wife. So we're going to be talking about how sovereign countries have their own identities, but those own identities that they have also coexist with the Jewish and the Christian identity, and how everything links up. So one of the discussions that we're going to be having regarding this is DNA. So I actually solved the case. I was working on a RICO Act that's called Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organized Crime Act. It was something that was enacted in my country in I think the 1970s, 1975, something like that. Businesses that was created, like limited liability companies, partnership corporations, sole proprietorships. If they had a business and had bonding and insurance on their business, but they used that business to commit a crime, and then they used that business license to get another business to cover up that crime or to do something to the victim so the victim can't report that crime, and then the victim was rotated between different businesses that was created by a businessman doing crime. Now, after the RICO Act, we can charge that business for the crimes committed in the state or the district, the federal laws or the U.S. Constitution amendments that was violated in that process. So what happened was, in the process of a limited liability company kidnapping me from Carquinez Middle School in Crockett, California, holding me hostage in his 5-story home with this limited liability company, calling his business a sheriff agency. He kept me in a 5-story home consisting of commercial real estate, agricultural real estate, residential real estate, and inside of the real estate he had cameras, video and audio, which he recorded and he sold on the black market, forced labor. So the closed circuit television network was the 4th story, and then all of the people that it took for him to demand the ransom, set up the ransom deposits, escort, collect the ransom, and benefit from kidnapping me, which is the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organized Crime Act, which departments, which was the 5th story. So inside of his 5-story home, he used rope, duct tape, ski mask, blindfold, weapon, a ticking time bomb of multi-civil litigation, torture utensils, and a murder weapon in order to demand my holy allocation from God. As my name Aaron originates from the Jews of the Holy Bible, Aaron, and also what God wants for me, to till the land and to be multiplied and fulfill the land, and to keep my heel on the head of the serpent, and to be fruitful and multiply all the days of my life, go through child pain. So as a result, in this process, I identified the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organized Crime Act. I identified the rope with his DNA, his duct tape, ski mask, everything that he used, his gloves, everything, his getaway vehicles, his cut wires, everything that he used. I created a evidence locker, and I kept evidence and exhibits in the locker. I contacted the Federal Bureau of Investigations and worked with the likes of George Pyro, Paulo Bate, James Comey, Robert Mueller, David Johnson, and joint efforts with U.S. Postal Inspector General, police, sheriff, internal affairs, the Department of Justice, state attorneys, U.S. Attorney General, to present my case, the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organized Crime Act. As a result, I'm the forefather of forensics, and I'm also the forefather of DNA Phase 2 and Investigations Phase 2 and the Helix Phase 2. So what this means is, as I'm tilling the entire land across the entire country, I will be able to present this particular system that actually works. So how it was before is, if a crime is committed and there's no DNA at the scene of the crime, then the criminal might go free, even if the criminal was inside of a database, a criminal database. But if there's no way for us to understand which one of the criminals in the database committed the crime, because there's no DNA, the criminal might get away with the crime. How it used to work is, let's say the criminal was not in the database, but there was DNA. So there's so many different people on the planet. It's very hard for us to find this person without some type of database to confirm identity of the DNA. So what I did was I created a solution to this particular problem. So now, if a crime is committed outside of the United States, as I'm tilling the land, not only would I have, what I already have through Rosalind Crick and Rosalind, with help of Rosalind at Cambridge, which is DNA in the helix, and the investigative body that I already have with the FBI and some of the other domestic law enforcement agencies that work well in international standings regarding the United States of America. But I'll also be able to actually identify who committed a crime against the United States of America, the property in a different country. So there's a United States citizen in a different country, a crime is committed. I don't know who this person is. There's no database and there's no DNA because we just don't know who this person is. But this is a United States citizen and we're in a foreign country, and now I do have a DNA, so I can actually identify who this person is, or the people is, or the origin, if it's an intelligence system. So now I also have a way of confirming that identity also. And so we're going to be talking about this in the infrastructure reform policy and in the entertainment reform policy. So aside from all of that, that's what I'm working on right now. So just to let you guys know a little bit of where we at, it is 200 hospitals that we're creating, 200 schools, preschool, kindergarten, junior high school, trade school, career school, special education, junior college, university, and 200 countries. We're also creating social clubs in 200 countries. We're gonna have libraries, churches, synagogues, fitness centers, computer rooms with notebook, laptop computers, e-readers and tablets. We're gonna have different functions and recreational and sport activities in these social clubs, and a lot of different things like motivational speaking in school, and art galleries and museums and exploratories in these social clubs that we're creating. And we're gonna do 200 of them in 200 countries. Another thing that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be having a media conglomerate. So radio station, TV station, magazines line, newspaper line, game creation, software creation, a radio station. We're gonna be having up to the minute results on our cell phones, notebooks, and tablets in every country regarding anything that I feel adamant about. So we're going to be talking about Jews, Christians, origin of life, the order of life, robot-human integration, documentations for traveling on the earth, and we're going to have an opportunity to protect the United States of America with this new investigations, this new helix, and this new DNA process while we're in 200 countries. And we're going to be implementing 12 reform policies that I've already spoke about in these 200 countries. And so this is going to be $400 billion. And then it's also going to be $4 billion for my royalty check. And so that's the greatest conversation on the planet. And so we're going to have more of these conversations coming up soon. So stay tuned. This is Barron Trump. This is going to get interesting. And just for the record, I'm going to upload 20 songs. I want 60 music artists to feature on these 20 songs. I'm on the course on each of the verses, of 3 verses per song. And there's 20 songs. So there's 60 jobs opportunities for music artists that I'm going to upload right now. I'm going to start improving the economy, and we're going to get jobs created, and we're going to get this church and this synagogue up and going. All right? So I'm Barron Trump. Stay tuned. This is going to get very interesting. Barron Trump for president at gmail.com. Thank you.